the fact that Eagles fans are concerned that we might be ready to beat the Eagles on Thursday night is a little bit concerning for me. And I'm concerned for you because this is your fan base. And I feel like they're not mentally ready to do the back-to-back that everyone is saying they should be doing. All right, welcome back to the Beat. Huge day for the fellas here. Huge day. We got Mikey, the train conductor Silvestri, back on the pod once again. And we got the Sully monster down there bringing up the Eagles on today's pod. Yeah, good to have you on again, man. Been a while. Been since, I think last time we did this was last year in preseason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Definitely, we were not Super Bowl champions last time we did this, but feels good. Feels good this time,
Yeah, if we want to get right.
How are you?
I'm doing good. So I actually want to start off this whole show by asking you something because it's happened to me multiple times in the last 24, 48 hours. I'm concerned that Eagles fans think way too much of the Cowboys because the amount of times that I have Eagles fans like, oh, are you ready for Thursday? Implying that we somehow have a chance to win this football game is baffling to me. So the fact that Eagles fans are concerned that we might be ready to beat the Eagles on Thursday night is a little bit concerning for me. And I'm concerned for you because this is your fan base. And I feel like they're not mentally ready to do the back-to-back that everyone is saying they should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a little concerned. So I want to hear your thoughts on where you are on the back-to-back, the repeat. Is it possible? What has to change for the Birds, maybe throughout the year that you've seen so far that you're concerned about with the team to get you guys to repeat?
Okay. Well, to start, there's always, that general concern just because it's a division game. Anything can happen, Eagles could totally lay an egg on Thursday night and Dallas could come out and shock the world, or the Eagles win by 3 scores. I don't know. Well, you never know, man. You never know with this team. You never know with this division. I personally think the Eagles are going to win, obviously. But I think we're in prime position to go back. I don't think there's any concern at all. I have no concerns. I see no reason how we can't go back to back. I don't really have any fears in the NFC. Everyone keeps talking about the Commanders and the Lions. I think the Lions have had multiple good chances and they've blown it every single time. So, that screams choke artist to me. And at the end of the day, their quarterback's still Jared Goff, and I don't fear Jared Goff by any means necessary. In terms of the Commanders, they had a really good year last year. I think they surprised a lot of people, myself included, their fan base included. I don't think anyone expected them to really do anything. But, it's a big year for Daniels.
One second. I want to apologize to Philadelphia, to you, to all of your fans. Do you guys piss on yourselves at the tailgate? Yes, but at least the tailgate is fun. The Washington Commanders fans are some of the worst, most delusional people I have ever met in my entire life. They thought that they were hot shit because they took over a Hard Rock in Philadelphia. Buddy, I didn't even know there was a Hard Rock in Philadelphia. If you want to take over something, take over Chickies and Pete's. Go ahead and continue. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry to you guys.
Commanders fans, they've been through a lot. They've been through the Snyder era. They used to be really good and they haven't been good in years. They got a little too excited. Shit. They walked into Detroit as a 14-point underdog in the divisional round and they won. If I were a Commanders fan, I'd be giddy too. Now, walking into Detroit, who has never won anything, versus walking into Philly is a lot different. So, is there a little bit of delusion there? Sure. But I think there's a lot of answers. There's a lot of questions to be answered this year about the Commanders, more so than I think people think. I think Daniels is either going to shine bright again, which is very possible, or he could pull a CJ Stroud like last year and have a little bit of a slump. This division, we obviously talk about how there hasn't been a repeat winner in 2 decades or whatever. But, I really don't see, knock on wood, I don't see a reason the Eagles can't do it again. I don't fear anyone in this division, really. Not even the Commanders.
No, I agree with you. I do think that the Eagles are set up to repeat as division winners. I won't go as far to say Super Bowl champions. Maybe they could be NFC champions. It's just a very tough thing to do and a tough thing to say at this point in the season, especially being that, Saquon, for the first time in his life, made it through a season healthy, as healthy as he could. So it's tough for me to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, the Birds are going to be healthy the whole year. They're going to be great. They're going to get to another Super Bowl. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be the whole gang back together. It's tough for me to go out on a limb and be like, yeah, they're going to do that, especially with the injury history of these guys and the way Jalen Hurts typically does in championship scenarios. Roll Tide. Tough week for them. No, but I do want to touch on the Commanders, because I do think that they've brought back some serious talent. I mean, getting Scary Terry back in the door was big for them, big for Jaden Daniels and what he can do this year. Do I think that they can get over the hump and win the NFC East? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think the Cowboys have their number. I think with Dak Prescott being healthy and actually having two weapons on the outside and Ferguson back healthy, if Jalen Blue can turn it out to be RB1 and be very good for them, I think that'll be huge for the offense as well. The big question with the Cowboys is what's going to happen on defense. I think that their defensive front is pretty solid. I think they got much weaker on the edge, obviously, but I think they got much stronger at D tackle. If Diggs is healthy, I think that, him and Bland have proven they can be very dominant on either side. Safety still, same as last year. Not going to be great, not going to be bad. Linebacker, not going to be great, not going to be bad. If we made any improvement in those areas, it's marginal. It's really going to come down to how that front does this year. If the front can, hold teams to 20 points on average, Dak Prescott and this offense there's no reason why they shouldn't be putting up at least 3 to 4 touchdowns a game. We should be in every game if the defense can hold teams to 20, 22 points. Am I wrong in thinking that? But with that, if we're giving up that many points, we're bound to give up like a 30-burger, 40-burger. So we're going to lose games. I just think that we will come in second place in the East, behind the Birds.
I admire your optimism, especially after the week that you've had. I feel like there's no other choice but to be optimistic. But
we're a better team now. Way more balanced, way better team. We don't have any egos, anyone going on their podcast and ripping their own team, flirting with the rival in Texas. Yeah, we don't have none of that in our locker room anymore. Nope. Yeah. All we have is a senile old man running our team.
CeeDee Lamb's got a bit of an ego, though, now, and so does Pickens. Pickens is a big locker room problem.
No, Pickens has been great. Pickens has been great in the locker room. The boys love him. CeeDee Lamb loves him. They're literally butt buddies. I heard that they're like the Jude Bellingham, Trent Alexander-Arnold of the NFL.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. Take that for what it's worth, because I don't support the other one.
That's very fair. Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Dallas in recent memory that makes me think that they're any more of a threat than what they usually are. Fair. Like I said, come Thursday night, I could totally see, and this is just because I, always prepare for the worst, but I can totally see after all the negative press the Cowboys have been getting over the last month or so, they somehow squeak out a win against us. But that would be a fault of our own, I don't think that would be a praise on you guys. That would just be the Eagles blew it. But, I still, as much as I am afraid of that, I can't see a world where it actually happens, unfortunately.
No, that's totally fair. I've said from basically, I don't know, what was it, like July, that I think that the Cowboys will cover the spread, but the Eagles will win the game. I've said that for a while, which is why that's going to be my moral this week. It's actually at plus 8.5 right now, which I love. The fact that they have it at over a touchdown, dude, give me all of that. But yeah, no, I think the Birds are they're a very strong team. They're going to be there at the end once again. They'll be probably a top 4 to 5, 6 team. If it were to fall apart, where do you see this team's weakness going into the season?
If it were to fall apart. Well, the looming Madden curse of Barkley. I think losing Barkley for any type of extended period of time would be a problem. It didn't get brought up yet, but I'm going to bring it up because we all are aware it's real.
Yep.
Depending on how serious it's going to be, I'm not sure. if he is going to get hurt, I would prefer it's sooner than later. But maybe he doesn't get hurt. Maybe he breaks it. Colin, why not? Why not him? Why can't he break it?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll play a full healthy season, and he'll break the running record.
Yeah, I mean, last year I was cheering for him to break it. I wanted to see him break it. I thought it was pretty soft of Sirianni and the Eagles to not let him break it. That was a soft team move, and you know it. You know it. Your organization went soft that week.
It paid off.
No, definitely. And I think Saquon is going to have another great year. I think he's going to come back and, nothing's really in his way besides if there's the injury that, we saw with the Giants. Ever since he's been in the league, it's been, can Saquon stay healthy? If he stays healthy, he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to have as good a year as last year. I'm just not. I feel it for some reason. I know there hasn't been much change with your O-line. I just feel like they're not going to do as great as they did last year. The holes they were opening for that guy. I mean, dude. There was. I don't see holes that big. It was crazy what they were doing on that O-line. So I mean, Oh, here, wait. Let's get Mike's take on this. Mike, you want to come into the show?
Hey guys, how we doing?
You're up there, dude.
Hey, I'll let you guys rip it. Let me just touch on a couple of things here. You guys are the NFC East boys. I'm just a spectator. Let yourselves be. But everything that Ethan has said, I do agree with. Let's go back to the Commanders real quick. He brought up the Houston Texans and how C.J. Stroud kind of struggled his second year. I see that happening. I do see that happening with the Commanders. And Muller, you called that later. You called that way back. Their schedule is going to be a lot tougher. I think they have one of the oldest rosters in the league. You got Eckler back there, and you got Debo, so they are definitely up in age. When it comes to the Eagles, I agree. I think it's just what's going to hurt them if something was to blame. It would be injuries, in my opinion. I mean, yes, you lost your coordinator. He goes to the New Orleans Saints, but it's kind of like the Lions situation. Where you see the type of offense that they run and you just stick to the game plan. Once you start changing a bunch of things, where you're passing the ball more, you're not running through Saquon, then there's an issue. But if you keep the script the same as it was last year, which I said even before the season started last year, I don't see why they cannot continue the success that they've had. Now, with the Cowboys, because we have not talked about, I have not said anything about the Cowboys. I believe the spread was plus 6.5 before Micah got traded. Now it's plus 8.5. Listen, I know where you stand, Colin. Ethan, I actually don't know where you really stand either. But dude, that's a big trade. That is like that trade. The way I look at it, and I know it's probably going to infuriate you, but that just kind of was, hey. Maybe 2-3 years down the road when the Eagles are losing steam, they're losing some of their offensive linemen. That's where we are going to take a step up and maybe overtake the division. Mike is that good of a player where a trade like that happens, it completely changes your defense. Now I don't know what to think of the Cowboys, but like you said, Colin, I do like where their offense is headed. I really do. Like you said, if they could put up 3-4 touchdowns a game, that's great. But are they going to be the Cincinnati Bengals now where they're putting up a shitload of points, but they're also giving up a shitload of points? That's kind of how I look at Dallas right now. So where I see Thursday, when a couple of days from now, I do see the Eagles. I think they're going to go through some growing pains. I think the Cowboys will go through some growing pains. Super Bowl slump does exist, but in Philly, I still think they've brought a lot of people back. I see them winning the game, but I see Dallas maybe getting a backdoor cover somehow 8.5. But that trade is a lot. They were terrible at stopping the run, and that's going to help. But those first round picks aren't going to really matter until down the road. So we shall see.
Not even that, but they're first round picks, but the Packers are usually somewhat of contenders every year, so they're going to be late. I know they're still first, but they're going to be late.
Yep.
So, Colin, question, because I didn't really get your full take on this yet. Are you overall at peace with the trade, instead of resetting the market, or are you bitter about it? How do you feel genuinely?
All right. So, when it first happened, pissed off. Like, you don't want to see that type of player leave for whatever we got back. It didn't matter. You don't want to see that type of player leave. And, you sit there and you're looking at the roster, you're looking at the cap space, And going back to what Mike said, the Eagles are kind of running this thing for at least the next year and a half. Like, they're just in a position where the team is very, very good right now. And all right, if we pay Micah, our cap space is just absolutely screwed. And we're sitting here with a very young defense with a lot of talent on it. So it's like, all right, we pay Micah, we're screwed. We can't improve with veteran talent on this team. Or we trade him, we get the 2 picks, 2 first-rounders. The off chance that Green Bay has a bad year. I know it's slim, but that first-round pick could end up, in the teens. I don't think they'll ever be bad enough to be a top 10 pick, but we can hope for the teens. And, we have a good front. It was always good, but it always had Micah in it, so everyone looked at Micah. I think you're going to be surprised with some of the guys you're going to see this week, especially on Thursday night. If not, Thursday's a huge game. They're very young. We're going to have, our guy from Boston College. I can't even say his name. It's like Ezaruka, whatever the fuck it is. Dude, he's supposed to be very good. I'm expecting big things from him, but to expect a rookie to go out there and be fantastic against the Super Bowl champs is a very tall ask. So I think over time we will see that this young Cowboys front can hold their own. And, it might not be this season. It might be next season, the year after. But I think that Jerry Jones, when he looked at this team, and if you go through our whole roster, we're very young. Kenny Clark, he's 29, going to be 30. But he is one of the older guys on the team. We are a very young football team right now, the way it's constructed. So I don't think Jerry Jones is necessarily wrong. And I said this to Mike. Right now, it's going to look like he's an insane person. But when we look back on this in 2-3 years, we could be saying Jerry Jones was right to not spend the money on him, save that money, put it in. And if, let's say we do really well this year, by some miracle, based on everyone else's thoughts, we do very well. We're in playoff contention. We're right there with the Eagles. We're right there with, if the Lions are there. I don't think they will, though. We could go out and get a veteran presence on defense. We could go out and, fill a hole that we need to fill, whatever it is at the end of the season. And now that makes us contenders, and we could be competing with the Birds, which no matter if it was the Birds that were in a bad spot or the Cowboys that were in a bad spot, no matter what year it is, it's always a dogfight in those games. When Dak and Jalen Hurts are both on the field together, it's always a dogfight, no matter who's on what side of the ball. It's always a close game. And Dak Prescott usually comes out on top. I don't want to start a fight here, but let's be honest with ourselves. When you look at the records, when it's Dak versus Jalen Hurts, Dak tends to win the football game. I don't want that to be the focus of this conversation, though. I just think that Jerry Jones actually did a good thing for the Cowboys when you look at long term. And my God, has he been playing the long game, because it's been since the early 90s.
Yeah, that's definitely, I could appreciate that out. I could appreciate that outlook on it, because, resetting the market would have been a big deal. And, is he really, in the moment we're like, oh, he's worth that money, but 3 or 4 years down the line, is he really worth that money? Mm-hmm. I think, even from an unbiased standpoint, I think it was a good idea to get rid of him. But I think just the way it happened is more so raising question marks, especially when it's time, if Pickens is long term going to be someone that you guys want to keep, what's it going to be like when he wants money? Because he's eventually going to want to get paid, especially if he has a good year this year. You saw the whole CD saga and the Dak saga. It creates precedent. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike, at the end of the day,
can I respond to that real quick?
Well, go ahead.
I want to, talking about the George Pickens situation, I want us to look at what happened with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Because, Pickens could hold out, we could franchise him, we could do all this, that. But at the end of the day, T. Higgins did not get paid Jamar Chase money. You know what I mean? We're not going to sit here and be saying, oh, should George Pickens be getting wide receiver 1 money? That's not going to happen. He might get paid a lot, but it's not going to happen. So I don't see George Pickens as a huge issue. I could listen, at the end of the season, you could tell me to eat shit if he comes out there and is fantastic and he's wide receiver 1 material. And at that point, yeah, totally. But right now, he's a wide receiver 2. And can we go out there and find another wide receiver, draft another wide receiver that could come in and possibly do just as good as him, if not better? Like, George Pickens hasn't proven that he can be up there in the conversations with these top 3 dogs, top 5 dogs, where if we go AJ Brown, Jefferson, Jamar, CD, like, he's not in those conversations.
No, I don't disagree with that. But I'm saying he might think that.
No, totally. Then you let him walk and we go get someone else. But having this money opens up the window to bring in whoever we want when that time comes.
Yeah, and I think that was the main objective when you look back at it, because obviously, as an unbiased fan of, like, myself, you look at that and it's like, damn, that's a guy you let go. Micah Parsons, a guy that has been wreaking havoc for the Cowboys for so long. But guess what? Now we go back to what we were talking about at least 2 years ago. You got to pay Dak. You got to pay CD. One of those guys is going to be in limbo. It's kind of like, I'm not going to bring the Jets in, but just bear with me. Garrett, Sauce, and Brees, same thing. Brees is going to be the odd guy out. Like, it was going to happen. Like, it was going to be impossible to pay big money for those 3 guys. Now, last thing, the decider with this trade, in my opinion, is the draft picks. Because we know that Mike is going to go to Green Bay pending his health and is going to be phenomenal. If he is healthy. If he is not healthy, it's going to look very good on Jerry Jones' part. But Jerry Jones is known for drafting some guy named Tyler in the 20s or 30s that usually pans out pretty well. And he's going to have two of those each year to pick somebody that's my belief is that he will be drafting defensive linemen. He's going to try to fill in that void where Mike is not there anymore. He's going to either get an edge, a D tackle, pay Kenny Clark. George Pickens, listen, like you guys said, I don't think he's going to get wide receiver 1 money. And if he doesn't, you draft somebody else. So I see why Jerry did it. I also see why people are giving it backlash for doing what he did. So
I have a theory, Mike, because I like that you brought up Breece Hall, because there's been a lot of rumors that he's going to get traded to Dallas, which I would love. I will even get you a jersey. I have a theory that I don't think Cowboys fans are going to see both these first-round picks used. I think one of them for sure. I think both is a stretch. I think Jerry Jones is going to use one of those to leverage a good move in the probably the next year, possibly even this season, to bring in, if Blue turns out not to be the guy, he's constantly injured, I could see him using it to go get a very, very good running back. I could see him going out and getting an edge. I don't think we're going to see him use both first-round picks.
But why not, though? I don't think
wouldn't
be a bad idea, though. Because think about these draft classes that are coming up. 2026, very trench-heavy draft class, very skill player-based. 2027, that's going to be one of the best draft classes we're going to see when it comes to pure skill position. I would keep them. Yeah, again, if I'm looking at Jerry doing this as a long-term move. Listen, the Eagles are so good right now. We can compete, but they are too good of a team to overcome. And it's the harsh reality, in my opinion. The Dallas Cowboys will hang around. The Commanders will hang around. The Giants will be getting better in the long term. But when you're looking at that 2027 draft class and you have 2 first-round picks, why trade them away? Why trade one of them for a running back who's 26 years old, 27 years old, is already done with one team? Keep him. Keep him. You're going to be so much better in the long run. And that's what I think Jerry's going to do. We know how Jerry trades. We know how conservative he is. This was the most aggressive that he has been since a while when it comes to drafting, trades. He brought in Pickens. That was the most aggressive move he's done. And that was, a 3rd-round pick he gave up, 4th-rounder? Keep the picks. Just play your game, keep everyone, and just move from there. That's what I think.
Yeah, but if he thinks that they can win, he's going to move one of the picks. You got to remember, that's not our only first-round pick we're going to have. That's the Packers' first-round pick. And if the Cowboys are playing good, which they normally do, they end up in the teens anyways. We draft in the teens every year. We're never a top 10 pick. Just like the Eagles, you guys are never a top 10 pick. So these picks that you get from teams that end up around the 20s, ultimately that's right where you draft all the time. So it's not like having a Packers pick is making a huge amount of difference. I know it's a first rounder, but Will McClay, who should be doing every draft and really should be our GM, has been great the last 2 years. And he's been great in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. The first round, sure, but we've seen Taco Charlton. We've seen Mozzie Smith, right? It's been the second, third, and fourth round out of Will McClay working with Jerry Jones that we've seen some very good draft picks come to fruition on the Dallas Cowboys. Similar how he's very good at it as well in Philly. Like if Will McClay was a GM, we're talking about two of the best GMs in football in the same division, and it would be the Cowboys and the Eagles every year like it was just in that documentary, Cowboys and the 49ers, because of the way that they're able to draft and move picks around and operate in the NFL. But Grant, we have fucking Jerry Jones, so it's never going to happen. Then we're going to have Stephen Jones, and then we're going to have his daughters, and it's going to be a nonstop. It's miserable, dude. How am I a Flyers fan, a Sixers fan, a Cowboys fan? All my teams suck. Everyone sucks. Brother. I know you feel me. Ethan somewhat feels me because I know he likes the Flyers and the Sixers too. Why do we suck?
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, let's move on though.
Bill's character, remember that.
I want to talk a little bit about the AFC because we really don't talk about that a lot unless we're talking about the Jets on here. And with the season starting this weekend, I would like to touch on it. Like one of the bigger talking points of the AFC, is the Bengals this year. Are they going to be good? They got Trey Hendricks signed, but like, is that enough to see them go back to the Super Bowl? Are the Bills going to be able to get over the hump and then win one unlike they were in the 90s? Is Lamar Jackson actually going to be not just a regular season quarterback, but also a postseason quarterback and possibly win an AFC championship game? Like, it's just tough for me when I watch Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs every year. They come back out and you think they're down, you think they're out, and they just turn it on everyone's head and they win every game. It's crazy to see. It's impressive to see. I want to get your guys' thoughts, especially Mike, since you're over there in the AFC.
Okay, I'll start it. So let me just touch on the Chiefs real quick because we just found out that Rashee Rice is getting suspended. He's going to be out for, I believe, 6 to 8 games. That division is getting very tough now. Those teams are getting a lot better. When you're talking about the Chargers, when you're talking about the Broncos, they are getting better and better each year. The Broncos defense is probably top 2, Eagles and the Broncos. They are legit. The Chargers, I know we say this every single year, they're getting better. Jim Harbaugh, his first year, they go to the playoffs. Yes, they lose. You bring in Amari Hampton. You're bringing obviously Najee Harris to back him up. Maybe we might see a shift this year. I feel like the last 2 or 3, it's really been Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. It's been those top 4 teams really running the AFC. We'll see the same. I still believe the Bills will be very good. I still believe the Ravens will be very good. I think the Bengals will be better than this year. But just watch out for the AFC West. That's all I have to say, because I think a lot of people are starting to notice how good Denver actually is. And if Bo Nix can play a little bit better than how he played last year, they have the personnel. That's not the issue. It's going to be a dogfight. It really is. When it comes playoff time, I think any of those games, unless it's the Steelers in the wild card, that's not going to. There's no win there. I think those games, if it's Denver and Baltimore, Denver and the Bills, if it's the Chargers and the Ravens, who knows? Who knows? Going to be very competitive with those guys.
I like that point, Mike, and I'm going to pivot off of that because I don't know. Answer. Like, does anyone else get tired every year of talking about the Bills and the Ravens and like, oh, this is their year, this is the time, it's been this long, eventually it's going to click? I got news for you. I've seen enough. If Josh Allen wants to win a Super Bowl, he should go to the NFC because he's never going to get there through the AFC.
Agreed.
And honestly, Lamar's like one more choke away from being in that same conversation. I'm tired of hearing about, oh, the Bills this, the Ravens that. Listen, 2 years ago, Lamar had the AFC Championship in Baltimore against the Chiefs, and they put up 10 points. You can't do that shit when you're hosting the NFC Championship against the Chiefs. There's no reason they shouldn't have won that game. And with Josh Allen, I mean, let's be totally honest. Mahomes owns him. I don't care if it's regular season, postseason, preseason. Mahomes just beats him every time. It's become a mental thing. I genuinely think there is a mental block now between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes that Josh Allen cannot pull it, whether it's Josh Allen or the Bills entirely. Like, they can't get over that Kansas City hump ever. Whether, they're up a possession, they're trailing, it's a close game, never. It always ends with Mahomes with the ball at the end, scoring the last field goal or scoring the last touchdown. Now, with that being said, the only quarterback in the AFC that's active that actually can beat Mahomes and that has beaten Mahomes when it matters is Burrow. And, barring the catastrophic luck that they had last year and some of the injuries, the Bengals were one win away from being in the playoffs. So, with the healthy Bengals this year, I don't see a reason why they can't make a run. And honestly, if I'm a Chiefs fan, that's the team I'm watching out for. If I'm a Chiefs fan and I see the Ravens and the Bills on the schedule, W. Like I don't fear. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I don't fear those teams anymore, because how many times are they going to do the same song and dance where, oh, it's Lamar's time. Oh, Lamar had an MVP year. Yeah. And then Lamar goes out there and doesn't get it done. So.
It's funny last year too, because, the Bengals, I believe they needed to win out that last game, and they needed the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs. I believe the Chiefs had to beat the Broncos for the Bengals to get in. Dude,
right.
The Chiefs were, credit the Chiefs. They were smart. They're like, you know what? Let's not allow them to just get in the playoffs. And let's just lose to Denver. They did not want to see them. Let's just lose to Denver. I think it was pretty much a blowout, I believe. But I agree with you on the Ravens real quick, because I am a Lamar guy. I thought the Ravens were the team to dethrone the Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl. This really is I'm going to say it's their last year to really prove a point, because we have seen this every single year. Like you said, Ethan, we've seen this last year. We saw it 2 years ago where they couldn't beat the Chiefs. Lamar has to do, as much as he can. Mark Andrews dropping the ball, Zay Flowers. And I feel like the Bills, when you look at them too, it's really, for me, personnel. Like, I just don't think the personnel is there to compete with the Chiefs. I don't think it's even comparable. Even though the Chiefs, their personnel is not the best. They have Andy Reid, they have Travis Kelce, they have Mahomes. They get it done. That quarterback head coach duo is incredible. We don't really have that with the Bills. And the Ravens, yes, we do. But, you have Derrick Henry behind you. He can run wherever, whenever. But I don't know. I think you gotta watch out for these other teams, because, hey, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. And Sean Payton and Bo Nix, I like what I see there. I really do.
I think the Broncos have a promising future. And eventually there's, the Raiders are starting to make moves. They're starting to have a few more better pieces. I know Geno's not necessarily the answer, but they got Bowers, they got guys like Jacoby Myers. They're getting better weapons. I don't know. I'm just there's no excuse for these guys anymore. And not to bring up Hurts and boast his ego, but when Hurts plays in these games that matter, they get it done. Say for what you will, but Lamar can't get it done. Allen can't get it done. We've seen Burrow walk into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes. What's their excuse? I'm tired of hearing about every year. Oh, it's Lamar. Lamar's having this amazing season. Okay, yeah, but I want to know what happens in January. Mm-hmm. I don't care about his regular season stats. And if I'm a Ravens fan, I wouldn't care about this either. It's very likely, maybe more so for the Bills and the Ravens, but even still with the Ravens, it's very likely neither of these quarterbacks are going to win a championship with these teams, the way it's looking. So, ask a Ravens fan in 10 years, hey, would you have rather had a chip or two, or are you going to just hang on to Lamar and Allen's MVP trophies, participation? Like, I don't know. I would care more about championships, but that's just me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What about so we went to the AFC. Mahler, I don't know if you have anything, but NFC too. Like, there are a couple of teams, because I believe now, we had this conversation about 2 years ago, Mahler, where we were talking about the strength and the physicality of each conference. We would compare AFC to NFC, and at the start it was AFC for us. The NFC was going through the growing pains. The AFC was making their mark as the top dogs in the league, essentially. I feel like the narrative is flipped now. When you look at the NFC, you look at the NFC North. Yes, I know you guys are really not that high on the Lions. They're still going to be a good team. I am. It's going to be some growing pains as well. It's going to be a little different, but I think the players that they have, Dan Campbell's still there. I think they'll be solid. The Green Bay Packers are now potentially a Super Bowl contender. Let's keep it how it is. But I'm not a big Jordan Love guy. I'm not. But what they have just done, they've made a crazy move. The Bears, who knows? But go ahead, Kyle. What you got?
I like this whole conversation about NFC, AFC. Like the AFC is literally just like any professional soccer league. You know, you have your 4 teams that actually have a chance to win it, and then you have a bunch that are just fighting to stay relevant. Whereas in the NFC, we're sitting here where we got the Birds, we got the Commanders, we have the Cowboys as an outside chance. Then you look at other divisions. You got the Lions, you got the Bears, you got the Packers, you got the Vikings still there, you got the Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Cardinals if Kyler Murray figures it out. The Bucks, the Falcons, who knows what the Falcons are going to do? The Panthers are starting to look somewhat decent. So are we. Kyle Pitts return season. Dude, the Saints might be the only team in the entire NFC, well, the Saints and the Giants, that really has zero chance of doing anything. Like, think about that. The whole conference, realistically, if they caught fire, you could see them and make an argument for how they could win an NFC championship game or at least get to one. Whereas in the AFC, I mean, we just talked about it for 10 minutes. You got the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals. And then after that, you try and make arguments. Like the Broncos have the best argument for how they could get there. The Steelers definitely not. That franchise is dead. You got, like, I can't even like put another team in there without laughing.
Maybe.
What?
But that's about it.
Yeah, like
A healthy team.
but look at that. Like, you have to justify it by saying if they're healthy, because they can't stay healthy. Tank Dell's going to have his leg broken by his own teammate again. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane what goes on in that conference. And we're going to be sitting here in 5 months, and you know what's going to happen? We're going to be sitting here trying to figure out how Patrick Mahomes figured out how to get to another Super Bowl. It's really boring over there, and I feel bad for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson because they do this whole spiel every year, and all it leads up to is them fighting to be, I'm the best regular season player of the year. Like, who gives a crap? You guys never win anything of substance.
I sure wouldn't. I think we're at the point where they can't. I can't justify if I'm a fan of these teams, especially the Bills, with all the misery they've had. Like, who cares? Like, I don't care if Josh Allen's MVP.
No.
Give me a fucking ring.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Ethan, because the last time we were in person, you were there. You brought out the phrase "ticking time bomb." If you remember, this was to a certain team. Now, hold on. Let me ask you something here, because they have one of the easier schedules in the league, and believe me, I am with you on the Niners. I don't think they are legit, but they have a very, very, very easy schedule. I think their line is 10.5 wins. If you after this is done, after this podcast is done, I want you to look at their schedule. But has anything changed on your stance with the Niners?
In terms of them being a time bomb?
In terms of them not being a time bomb and actually being relevant again?
I mean, maybe. It depends. It's another health question. Like, is CMC going to stay healthy and have another amazing year? They lost Debo. That's not great. You know, Kittle's obviously still playing great. I'm still not sold on. I mean, Brock Purdy isn't what he was 2 years ago. I think that flame went down a little bit. I don't, I think they'll contend with that division, but, I still like the Rams a lot. Cardinals, I think, can really easily make some noise in that division as well. I'm not sold on the 49ers just yet. It really depends on, I think, McCaffrey, and it depends if Brock Purdy can, take a step further and not, freeze in the moment, I guess, because I don't see any reason why, like the Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, even, Commanders. I would take all those teams over the 49ers. Yeah. Packers even too. So, yeah, no. I don't. But, in terms of their schedule being easy, sure, if they can try to win the division or get a wild card spot, cool. But, when they're on the road and they're in a playoff game, we'll see what happens then.
I think they're going to be fool's gold because of their schedule. Like, their wide receiver one is Ricky Pearsall. He could be good. but he did get shot. Yes, he did get shot. But when we're talking about the NFC in that division alone, like I think the Rams are definitely the favorite, and I think they're going to be the closest. Listen, they were the closest team last year to almost beating the Birds in Philly.
That's
it. Exactly.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
I saw a real moment where that could have been over, but
again, it's Stafford's health at the end of the day. But that defense is very good. I told Mueller this. That defense is young. Jared Verse is a problem, and Sean McVay is still there. However long he's going to be there, they are going to be relevant and they're going to be a contender.
I think if the Rams somehow found their way to a Super Bowl again, even if it's the Chiefs, I can definitely see them competing and winning it. Obviously, like I think the Rams can hold up with any AFC team that's in the top of the chain over there. And honestly, unbiased opinion, the Rams were one play away from being in the NFC Championship. So, I would put way more stock into them than the Niners for sure.
No, definitely. Before we move on, I just got to get this out there. Like, I think every NFC team that we said could make it to a Super Bowl competes way better in a Super Bowl than a number of the AFC teams we're saying could make it to a Super Bowl. 100%. I think the Bills choke. I think Lamar chokes. I think Kansas City and the Bengals are really the only two that could go there and win it. I don't see anyone else really going there and winning it. I don't know. Go ahead.
Got to think, I know the Bills had that stretch where they lost 4 in a row, but, in an alternate universe where somehow Lamar or Allen gets through Mahomes and goes to the Super Bowl, they better win. You know what I mean? Like you better. I don't care. You better win. Like you can't do all that, get through Mahomes, and then be like, oh well, we still lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got it at that point. There, you guys want to pick some winners real quick? Mortal season, first one. It's the first one. Let's do it.
I already know what yours is.
Since I won last year, I have the first pick, even though you're a guest, Ethan. I doubt you were going to take mine, but I'm starting off with spread pick. So we're going spread, over, under, and then we're all going to pick one money line for the parlay.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. All right. So easy pick here. Easy pick. There's no way we get blown out. Big Daddy Dak's not allowing that. Cowboys plus 8.5 on Thursday night. Easy days. Who wants to go next? You guys are just nodding at me. Someone can go.
I'll give you some time here, Ethan. So I was stuck between a couple, of course, and it's probably going to lead to another 0-16 season. But I am going to ride with my gut. It is disgusting. It is so disgusting. But we're going to take the Colts minus 1.5, and this is why. Mm-hmm. Jim Irsay, RIP. That game is going to be played for him in Indy at Lucas Oil Stadium. Danny Dimes is going to take them to victory. I don't believe in the Finns. They are frauds. I'm taking the Colts to break the streak of consecutive losses on week 1. We'll take the Colts minus 1.5.
I love that pick, Mike. I really do, and it's only because of what you just said happened in the offseason. That roof is going to be open, just like Irsay would have wanted it, and they are going to dominate in that football game. Tua might get concussed. Who knows?
Wouldn't be surprised.
I got a spread for us to kick this off. Rams minus 3. Whoever made that line. Rams minus 3 at home versus the Texans. I would go up to minus 7 or 8. They're going to murder them probably. So
I agree with you.
I'm going to take Rams minus 3 there.
I agree with you. All right, over unders. Are we snake drafting this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or am I just so Ethan gets? All right, Ethan, go ahead. Over under.
I got one. Over under. I really like Raiders at Patriots over 43.5. I think those teams both got a lot better, and I think that they're just gonna put up a lot of points to get the season started in the right way. I think they got a lot of offense to look forward to. I think the Patriots are going to be a lot better than they were last year. We're seeing signs of life back with them, and I think Geno being on the Raiders is going to open up more opportunities for more touchdowns and more offensive momentum.
Dude, I'm just getting fucking attacked. I like all those reasons. I'm getting attacked by this fucking mosquito. That was crazy. That thing was huge. You could probably see it on the screen. Back to your pick, though. I don't hate it, but I think Vrabel's defense is going to be elite about halfway through the year, and you're going to see a lot of Patriots unders. That's just a take I have. You don't have to agree with it. I feel like Mike hates it. I feel like Mike thinks Justin Fields is somehow going to throw for 300 on the Patriots, but that's okay. Mike, give us your over-under.
Drake May, wait and see. Over, I'm taking the over. I don't know the line. Over in the Saints-Cardinals game. Dude, they got to make it entertaining somehow. That is a terrible game to be at. You're going to see a lot of defensive touchdowns. I think you'll see at least one. Don't know who's going to score it, but I'm taking the over in that game. We're starting off week 1, 2-0. We're going to finally get a win early, and we're going to take the over there. I think the over's smackaroni, and we'll see. We'll see what the Saints can at least do. If they can score 14, that'd be great.
Yeah, Mike, you definitely need to get some wins in the W column, being that like you definitely don't want to have to do another punishment. You know what I mean? I would hate for you to have to do a punishment. That'd be horrible, dude. So
that was terrible, man.
Definitely. It was horrible. I can't believe we even put that out. All right, I'm taking the under in the Panthers-Jags game. I think that's going to be an ugly game down in Jacksonville. I think, Panthers have a lot of young talent on offense, and I think they're going to come out a little slow. Might only put up like 5 to 10 points in the first half. Yep, I'm calling for a safety on the Jags. I don't see the Jags coming out hot. I just don't trust Trevor Lawrence at all, so I'm taking an under there.
Like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
All right, so now the parlay. I am going to take... I could do the funniest thing right here. I could do the funniest thing.
Do it.
Thursday night football.
Oh, God.
Taking the Birds. And then when they lose, I'm blaming you, Ethan. I'm blaming you for losing the B team parlay. I'm taking the Birds.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
I'm going to blame every Eagles fan for that loss because you guys all talked me into it all week.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. So, Denver. Heavy favorite. I don't see the Titans getting even close to being a game. It's going to be a blowout. I'm all over Denver here. They're getting the win week 1.
Yep.
Now, talk of the town this week and the last 2 weeks. I think the Packers are going to win at home against the Lions week 1.
I like that.
I think it's going to be a statement game for the division and for the year. I think there's a lot of excitement coming out of Green Bay right now, obviously, with their newest addition. And I don't think the Lions are as strong as people want to admit. I think they've had a lot of good chances and they've had a lot of good momentum. But again, when the moment comes, they disappear, like a lot of other powerhouses that we talk about. But, when the moment arises over in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field, it doesn't seem to be a problem. So far, we'll see.
All right, so now that my plan worked to perfection and we don't have the Eagles in this parlay, I am taking the Bears money line on Monday Night Football. So our parlay is the Packers, the Bears, and Mike, you said the Broncos. I like that a lot. Sorry, Ethan. I just couldn't have the Birds in our first parlay. They always screw us. They screwed us all of last year. I had to make sure we didn't have it again this year, although I do think they are going to win.
I mean, minus 450 on the money line. It's not great value. It's best to keep them out anyway,
Yeah. Like, what's Mike's? He took the Broncos.
I think it's like 470.
Yeah. Way to go out on a limb there.
Hey, a win's a win. Get the W week 1.
Mike, it's all about safety. You know what I mean? Train conductors, we got to be safe on the trains.
You have to look both ways. You can't hear the trains coming. You could get killed out there. You got to be careful. It's all about safety.
Mike, right before we go quick, we haven't really touched on it much. Are we optimistic this season? Are we ready to go? Does it feel
about not getting killed on the trains or the Jets?
Both.
Oh, both. I think I will stay alive when I'm out in the yard. It is very dark outside. I have a flashlight. The Jets, Aaron Glenn said this today. He was asked, what is it? What would be a good season for you? And it's, the fans saying we're proud of how they played and how they played this season. So give me 7 wins.
Don't take that. Mike, don't take that shit. Don't take that shit.
What do you mean don't take that shit? Do you not? Dude. You have no idea. You have no idea. What, are we going to win the Super Bowl? We're going to win the Super Bowl? Come on.
Playoffs.
He's patronizing you.
Listen. I would love if we snuck in the playoffs. Then I would be very proud. But if they can go out and not get blown out and keep it close, I'm happy. We're the Jets. Listen, we just talked about the AFC. I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense. The defense is going to play well. It's just, Justin Fields is going to be an up-and-down roller coaster. It's not going to be smooth sailing. Everybody knows that. It happened in Chicago. It did not happen in Pittsburgh because he was 4-1, 4-2. I don't know. I actually have faith. I'm very excited to see how they're going to be. I mean, we don't have a wide receiver 2. That's my only issue. We have Allen Lazard and Josh Reynolds. So you're going to see a lot of Braylon Allen. Remember the name, Braylon Allen.
Jets legend.
Jets superstar. He's going to be a superstar. Just wait.
Let's hope. All right. Well, Ethan, thanks for coming on again. That was a good time.
Very much, Ethan. Well done.
I feel like we're getting way more civil in terms of our talks with the Cowboys Eagles.
Who's not being civil?
No, that's what I mean. I feel like we've come a long way.
What does he have to argue? He doesn't have to argue anything.
I don't have much.
I'm excited for the game. I don't think that the Cowboys are going to win. I'm looking for us just to cover the spread. If they cover the spread, that's a win.
Do you have a score prediction?
I think the Eagles come out hot, banner night. They're going to raise the banner, show off their rings with the cool wings on them. Are they wearing Kelly green? Or are they wearing their home
midnight green, white pants?
All right, because I think the Cowboys are going white, gray. Yeah, so I mean, I think the Eagles come out hot. I think the Cowboys don't, and I think you guys jump out to maybe a 10-0 lead early, take it to like 17 after halftime. I think you guys end up winning around 27 to 21, 24, something like that. I think that we storm back towards the end, but it's going to be way too late, typical to last year's storylines, and we lose the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think you guys are going to blow us out.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was a blowout just of energy within Philly, but knowing that it's a division game, first game of the year, Cowboys, Eagles, I would be more surprised if it was a blowout than not. But I do think the Eagles are going to cover the spread. I got 31-21. I think that's going to be the final score.
Either way, the over hits.
Yeah, it'll be high scoring.
We should have just taken the over. No, awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Are you going to be down there?
I am going to be down there.
Nice. I will not.
I'm excited. Yeah, well, you're always welcome, Colin.
Yeah, I know I'm always welcome. Here's my issue with it. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, Colin, you're always welcome to come down to a Birds game. This is what's going to happen the moment I arrive. You guys are going to be like 2 or 3 drinks in. You're going to be you're going to feel the vibes. You're going to be getting going. And then one of you is going to be like, oh, the Cowboys fans here. Next thing you know, I have piss balloons being thrown at my face. Like, no, I'm not going down there for that. Are you kidding me? That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I'll sit here on my couch.
I would protect you with my life, Colin. You're one of the very few Cowboys fans that I respect because you're realistic. So I would not put any danger into your life.
Thank you. I feel very safe now.
Okay, good. Very nice.
I feel very safe now. It's me and Ethan versus like I don't know how many people go into the link for a tailgate. 100,000 people. Yeah, that's going to be super enjoyable. Can't wait.
One day.
Wait. Well, Ethan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thank you, Ethan. Always a pleasure.
That was fun. Yep. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Every subscriber we're donating with Nico Miola and his fitness page to childhood cancer. So do your thing. Unless you hate the kids. Just saying, that's what people are saying in the streets if you don't subscribe to the B team. So, all right, Ethan, thank you for coming on. It was a great time. Mike, good luck tonight.
Catch you, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Been a pleasure.